Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome back. Saturday night tailgate. Me and Steve, we made it. Both of us.
Barely
in the
made
flesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Steve, he missed the other day. He had to work.
Yes.
He had to work, missed it, but tonight almost missed it again. Hanging in there right now. This dude has developed some kind of a sickness.
I crawled down from the bed to do this for at least an hour with you guys because we haven't been able to put out much content with all the busy schedules and craziness. And I was like, I can't let this sickness take me down. We got to get it done.
Steve, what's attacking all Chiefed up over the past month? Have you
I don't
felt
know.
the attack? I feel like Satan's on the prowl, baby. What's going on?
It's hotter than the devil's butthole around here. No, for real though. I think Patrick Mahomes summoned his flu onto me because I made fun of them so much from last week. He's like, you know what? Let's see how you feel.
That's possible. Hey, I said just by watching the game, just by watching that monstrosity, we probably caught it because,
Yeah, maybe that's what happened, man. I don't know. But it's pretty rough, but it's all right. I'm going to sit down here and I'm going to sweat, and then I'm going to get cold, and then I'm going to sweat, and then I'm going to get cold, and I'm going to hang out with you guys for a while. Talk about this game coming up bright and early at the butt crack of dawn.
Jeez.
The Chiefs and the Dolphins. The Dolphins, obviously, high-powered offense, having a decent year so far. They haven't beat any really good teams yet, though. That's the big knock on them. But the Chiefs, man, worst game I've seen them play in a long time last week. But it is nice that they have this opportunity to bounce back against a good team like the Dolphins on a national stage. Like, there's been so much talk about the Chiefs this week, about how they're pretenders and Mahomes stinks if he don't have, I don't know. You've heard it all, right?
Oh, yeah. The media had a field day this week.
Well, this is their chance to get out there and prove everybody wrong, prove to them they're still the same old Chiefs and that the offense is fine. And we know saying the offense is fine is a bit of a stretch. I understand there are some problems going on there, but I don't think it's like far from where they need to be. I think they'll get it right, man. It's Andy Reid, it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's still Travis Kelce, even if he's 34.
Right. My heart says that I want this to happen. I gotta have so much hope that we're right there, that we're just so close to getting this together. But my head says, "Geez, Louise, you watch it."
Nay.
Good night. It looks horrible. So it's like, I don't know what to do. If I come out and I say, look, the Chiefs are going to, I can't come out and just be a negative Nancy all the time. You can't do it. People don't like that. They don't like you being a negative. They don't like you being old negative Ned.
Don't be a lame, Mike.
Yeah, you
don't
can't
do
be
it.
a lame. So it's like, but then you feel like you got to come out and you got to be one of those guys that just blow smoke up people's butt all the time. And you got to, just shoot them unicorns and rainbows. And then if something happens, they say, you idiot. And it's like, I kind of knew that, but I wasn't being. So you got to be true to yourself. And you know what? My true self says this. I really want this offense to be good and get over the hump. But I don't think this is something you're going to just see 1 week, flip the script, and it's just going to be happy. From there on, it's just going to be like pedal to the metal. I don't see it. I feel like even when they have 1 or 2 good weeks, they're going to take a step back. And they're going to continue to push and fall and pull and pull.
We've seen that happen already, man, because after the Chargers game, everyone's like, oh, the offense is finally clicking. And then all of a sudden they drop that big deuce right there on the 50-yard line.
We just need to hope that in a game like this, in a game like Philly, these guys are on, they're going forward. They're not going back. It's one of those forward weeks.
Yeah, you have to keep pushing, man. I mean, I think this Chiefs team's good enough to get it done this year. I think they can go back to back. I think the defense is the best defense we've had since Patrick Mahomes took over the reins at quarterback. A lot of positives. It's just getting everything into place. And the fact that they've played as bad as they have in certain games and they are at 6-2 at this point, it could have been worse, to be quite honest about it. But you hate to drop a game to the lowly Broncos right here before a stretch of hard matchups. It just seemed like it was that typical trap game, but at the same time, it just hurts a little extra because A, it's the Broncos, and B, you're getting ready to play the Dolphins and Philadelphia. You got some heavy hitters coming up. So if you had not dropped one to the Broncos, you wouldn't feel the need to, have a clean sweep coming up.
Right, but you have to beat these teams. These are the teams you have to beat to prove that you are dominant. Right. These are the teams you have to beat. Miami, we're fighting them out for a 1 seed right now. Right. We got to have the Arrowhead Invitational has got to continue another year. Like, we can't not have that going another year. The Eagles, that's another, that's a big player in the NFC, if not the best team in the NFC. You've got to be able to compete with them. I think over the next few weeks,
the tush pushers.
Right. And I think over the next few weeks, this week and next week, we are now playing probably, besides ourselves, we're probably playing the top one or two teams in the AFC. It's arguable between them and the Bengals. Or the Bengals and the Bills, by the way, are going to play.
Right.
So we're going to see. So it's one of those three. Okay. So, and with Kansas City. So you're going to see this week if we're going to be able to compete, if our offense is going to be enough, if we're clicking. And then you're going to get a bye week. And Andy's great off the bye week. But then you're going to turn around and you're going to get the NFC's best they got to offer. So we're going to know in the next 3 weeks, 2 weeks now with tomorrow and then the 2 extra, we're going to know if this Chiefs team is there or if they're a lot to be desired. And we better hope that we're closer to being there than not, because trade deadline's come and gone. We can't do it. These are our guys. And it's like, you play or you don't.
Yeah, like it's time to start getting things in order and get things clicking at the right time, right? Because we're already halfway through the football season. It's as crazy as that sounds, but it's time to start. Dude. Yeah, it's time to start getting things straight and in order for that playoff run, man. Before we get to dive in this Dolphins matchup, I just want to go ahead and say thanks for being with us tonight on the tailgate. Make sure to hit that like button real quick for us. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that sub button. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers before the end of the season. That's the goal that was set by our beautiful ACU crew. We're well on our way. We're right at 16K, so we're getting there. YouTube had other plans, but we're going to fight it, and we're still going to make it there. So be sure to do that for us if you can. Also, if you would like to support the channel, there are ways to do that. Check out the comment section. Nightbot will let you know how to make donations. And also, you can get over to patreon.com/allchiefedup. $10 a month, and you get a lot of exclusive content. All right, Mike. So I wrote down 3 things for this game. That's what I wrote down 3 things, not necessarily matchups, but just like observations, I suppose.
Okay.
I didn't like get like too in the specifics. Like I said, I've been kind of laying in the bed, dying a little bit. Actually, I worked sick, and then I went straight to bed, and then I rolled out for this. So I think the number one thing is we've talked about this offense. Like once they start looking a little bit better, you see them take a step back. I think we talk about the receivers. We talk about Mahomes not looking right. We talk about a lot of things, and we talk about what I'm getting ready to say a lot, but not as much lately. It's kind of fell to the wayside. They have to get back to the freaking run game. Like that's the one thing I've observed. It could be the whole reason why this thing's not working out. Could be why the offense is stalled and looked like garbage. Like Pacheco's had a really good year so far. Like if you go look at his stats, like he's very effective. And they've just gone away from him completely. Last week, 8 carries. That's pathetic. Like we've got to, take a look in the mirror. Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, whoever it is, and they've got to decide to establish a run game. Let the offense open up a little bit, and that might help some struggling receivers or a struggling Patrick Mahomes. But if you're just going out there and making it, one-dimensional, you're not putting them in the best situation.
Yeah, I feel like Isaiah Pacheco needed a bigger role last week. I feel like maybe that was part of the reason we didn't get everything, trucking along. If you go back and look at the losses on the year, Isaiah Pacheco has 8 carries in both of those games in our 2 losses. So it's a game where Andy got away from the run. We say this all the time. The Chiefs they're built around Patrick Mahomes. Don't take the ball out of Mahomes' hands. Don't do this. Don't do that. He's got to throw. He's got to get out of the pocket. He's got to throw it 40 times. That's what we are. Andy's a pass guy. Mahomes is a pass guy. But look, we do not have the same weapons. And whether we had it or not, all the way back, if you go back through time, we still do better when we commit to the run. Remember, we were struggling last year a little bit. I talked about this in the live on Wednesday. We were struggling last year a little bit to get going. And it was against the Bucs, and we were begging them all week long, use your offensive line, use your running game. And boy, we come out and we walloped the Buccaneers last year. We absolutely beat them into submission. And it's because we committed to the running game. So I'm with you. You've got to commit to the running game tomorrow. You've got to find a way to do it. Pacheco needs 20 carries tomorrow, and you have to go out there and you got to smack him in the mouth. Another thing that's going to do is slow down Miami's defense, by the way, because they have bought in. They have bought into Vic Fangio's defense. They have 27 sacks and 61 quarterback hits in the first 8 games this year. The 61 quarterback hits are the most in the NFL by any team.
Right.
And the 27 sacks are the 4th most. They've recorded a sack in every game this year. So that's what I'm saying. These guys can get after the quarterback. And we've also seen that our offensive tackles have struggled a little bit. We've seen our inside guys, the 3-headed monster in there with Smith and Tooney and Creed. They've not blocked the best at times. There's been times when they look a little bit lost on certain like stunts and blitzes and things. So they've got to do a good job. So I think I'm with you. I think that Pacheco has to get something. We got to slow down that pass rush, and we got to let Pacheco run the ball a little bit. And then I'll bring up a point. I think our defense has to get after the pass. I believe you've got to get Tua. You've got to get to him. You've got to get Tua him. That's what you got to do because.
Well, the thing about it is, you have to be careful. It's like a double-edged sword there. If you're going too heavy after Tua, you don't have time. He's going to start making quick passes to Tyreek Hill, who can tear up if they were to catch him on some delayed screens or something like that, it could really hurt you. So, the same with other guys. Jalen Waddle, is Mostert playing? I don't know if he is or not. They had like a laundry list of people on their injury report, so I don't really know what the heck's going on there. But they have a lot of speed on that team, so you have to be careful with it. But I agree, you have to put pressure on them. Can't let them sit back there all day and hit them on deep passes either. I think it's got to be a good mixture of tight coverage and a good pass rush. I mean, plain and simple. It sounds so easy, but that's kind of the formula you have to have against a high-powered offense like the Dolphins. So I think my next observation is one thing I didn't see a lot of in the previous weeks that I'd like to see more of is I want this team to show a little bit of heart and energy. They've looked a little dead. They've looked a little drab. They need a fire under that butt. Okay.
Yeah,
you have to get out there and play with a little freaking dignity, because last week was an embarrassment to them and all their fans and Chiefs Kingdom in general. It was a joke, and we all know that. We can admit that. Okay. And I'm not saying that's the worst thing ever. Bad weeks happen. I get it. But they've got to bring some energy. They've got to look more focused. They've got to execute better. They got to look like they give a crap what's going on. We can't have 12 men on the field penalties and people running the wrong routes and just miss, blown coverages. You can't do all that. You can't make those mistakes against good teams, or they're gonna beat you, and they're gonna beat you good.
Right. I'm with you with the energy. I think that's a big one. We see that a lot in games where the Chiefs just come out and look flat and they don't look good. Last year against the Bengals in the regular season, when they talked all that smack and everybody was, we're gonna get them this time, and the Chiefs come out and look like they were so disinterested.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna be disinterested here. You've had you're going up against the Dolphins. It's a big game. You're playing on a international stage. You're playing in front of the world. I think that the moment is big enough to keep these guys into it. I don't think the travel, any of that, there's a lot of travel. They're going to be, they're going to have jet lag, this and that. I don't think that's going to factor into it. I think they'll be up and ready to play.
Just to clarify a little bit, I'm not pointing out last week's game specifically as the only one. I think there's been games this year that the Chiefs have won where they still looked like they had no energy or were really, what I'm saying? Like, we haven't seen that fire this team gets a lot. And I know we're hitting the halfway point, but it's time to start really locking in, man. It's time to get it done. And we got some tough opponents coming up. So really hope to see that. And there's one more thing I want to talk about, and then you can go ahead and talk about whatever you want, Mike. But one thing that I want to see is I want to see them shut down Tyreek Hill. This guy's done nothing but run that mouth since the minute that he's left. He's done anything and everything for attention. He's took shots at this team. He's took shots at people. He said dumb things. We even made a short about it. Anything and everything to throw shade at the Chiefs, this man has done, and they made his career. So it really irritates me. And I know he's just doing it for clout. He's doing it for attention. I get that. But it's still freaking annoying. So in my opinion, shut him down any way you can do it. I don't care if you let Jalen Waddle beat you. I don't care if you let Raheem Mostert beat you. I don't care who you let beat you. Do not let Tyreek Hill beat you. You just can't do it. Seriously, the way he's talked about this team and run that mouth, Mike, how embarrassing would it be for them to go out there and let him have 200 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns?
That just sounds like a Chiefs thing.
It does, and that's what I don't like. I even said it sounds like the most Chiefs thing ever to get, trash talked for a year and a half and then let him just absolutely destroy them. We cannot do that. That's just ridiculous. Like I said, have a little heart, have a little pride, play with some dignity, get it done.
Here's the thing. Tyreek's walked back some stuff this week. This week he's been very positive about the Chiefs. You have to.
Yeah, I see somebody saying that in the chat and like, oh, he said something nice. Yeah, he has said nice things.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah, it's like he goes back and forth, and y'all can't deny. But I'm just saying, like, he does anything and everything for attention, and that's what he's been doing. And whether it's throw shade at the Chiefs and say, oh, they got handed the win in the Super Bowl, or this or that, like,
yeah,
enough's enough.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you can just not let Tyreek Hill beat you. Like, what's the thing that you do with him? Tyreek Hill, we know he's like elite. He's elite with speed. He's got elite quickness. He finds a way to get open.
We know this better than anybody, right?
Right. They put him in motion a ton. So what do you do? Because our number one is Snead. And believe me, Snead was getting beat like a drum by Cortland Sutton.
Hit him early and often. Like,
right,
that's my thing.
Be very physical.
I think you definitely do, and like especially on those bullcrap plays where they pull the CFL stuff where he gets a run and start, just meet him and hit him head on. Like, you have 5 yards, be as physical as you can with him, get in his head, and if you have to take, and this is by no means me saying take cheap shots at Tyreek Hill. So I don't need to see everybody in the chat being like, we're not like that. We're not trying to hurt people, but hit him when you can. Like, if it has to be, a little extra here and there, we got to get in his head.
You're just saying be physical. You got to knock him off his route. You've got to disrupt the timing. That's what you got to do.
And if you got to, I'm not saying take a shot at the guy's head, but if you see an open shot on him, you got to hit him. You got to be in his head.
You got to make him nervous about catching the ball. Tyreek Hill was always one of those looking around, bouncing off his chest kind of things. He never was a good hand catcher. Look, all this is easier said than done in a way.
It really is. I mean, he's very, very good. And he's very good. He's smart too. He's savvy.
He's the best wide receiver in the game right now. As in, like, look at the records he's breaking this year.
I mean, he is just hands down.
It's gonna be tough, but at the same time, I do think the Chiefs. Look, not a lot of the secondaries played against Tyreek Hill when he was with the Chiefs. Trent McDuffie's never seen him before. Snead has. Snead may know a little bit, but look, I don't think it matters. They're going to find a way to get Tyreek out. And look, they're just going to move him behind the line of scrimmage. They're going to bring him out, and they're going to make it to where you're not going to be able to put their hands on him. Mike McDaniels is a good offensive-minded head coach. That dude has been cracking me up this week with his jokes that, by the way, is going right over the top of people in Germany. Like, when he comes into the room and he's like, I already know what you're thinking.
Mike, it's like when they push us out to a new crowd of Chiefs fans that aren't our regulars.
Right. They don't have a clue what they're saying. Yeah, and they're like, these guys again.
What are they saying?
I'm with you. I think you have to put your focus on Tyreek Hill, but is that going to happen? I don't know. And yes, Tyreek has talked a lot of crap. He's backed off of it this week. You can say what you want. He's done it out of hate. He's done it out of just trying to pump up his podcast, whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot of different things. I don't think there's any necessarily hate there, but I think there might be a little bit of like bitterness, a little bit.
Yeah, there could be.
And
there could be that
with good reason either way. And then
he had mentioned the whole thing about how he wanted to be with the Chiefs, and then the Chiefs come back and was like, "We're going to take care of you." And then they offered him like 54, and all these other teams are offering him in the 70s and stuff. And
right.
So he probably does feel a little bit disrespected, and he's probably going out and being like, "Look, I'm the best wide receiver in the game. I feel a little bit disrespected." And there you go. So it's that. I'll get to a point that I was going to look at today.
The safeties have to have a huge game.
You think the safeties have to have a huge game?
I do. I think they have to. You cannot let Tyreek Hill's going to beat these corners. I don't care if you put McDuffie on him. Okay. I don't care if you put Snead on him. They're not going to lock him up every play. It's impossible. Especially with him getting running starts. It's just not going to happen. It's not realistic to think that. So, I mean, we've really got to play good deep there. Surely they'll probably run a variation of that cover two that Patrick Mahomes has fits with, to be quite honest. Have the safeties back deep. I think Justin Reed has to have a big day. Brian Cook has to have a big day. They cannot miss tackles. They're our last line of defense there. So we've seen Brian Cook really saved the day against the Jets when Breece Hall about broke one off. We're probably gonna need a few of those.
Right.
in this game.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. I think that's a good assessment. You got to try to focus on Tyreek. You got to have the safeties have a good day. Can't let them get behind you. Understand it. I'll focus on the Chiefs. Here's what I think we need to do to beat them, not what we need to do to not get beat. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
To not get beat, we have to do all the things you said. So to win, we have to do these things, in my opinion. You did mention run the ball, and that's got to be on there. You got to run the ball. To win, you've got to get after Tua. Our pass rush has to get home, and you got to watch out. You got to watch out. Tua's pretty good against the blitz. So we know Spags is going to do it. He's going to send wild blitzes here and there and everywhere. He's going to do it, and he's not going to back off of that. But you have to pick your times. And look, you got to pick your poison a little bit as well. If you want to blitz, you're going to have to, you've got to do what you said. And you're going to have Snead and Reed on the back end and Cook on the back end to get out there and make some plays when Tua throws that deep ball, because he will. But you got to get after Tua. Right now, I want to say Tua's only been sacked. I think he's the least amount sacked quarterback in football. So he gets rid of the ball fast. He does take shots. He throws the ball all over the yard. Let's just put it that way. Like he's at the top of almost every statistical category this year, and that includes QBR. So he's playing smart. He's right there. He's right where he needs to be. He's at the upper echelon of quarterbacks in this league. He wants to be respected. This is a big game for him. I think this is a big game for the Dolphins in general. They want to back up Tyreek against their old team, his old team. They want to come out and prove that they're at the top of the AFC. And they want to prove, Mike McDaniels and them's got something to prove. If they can beat us by 40, they'll beat us by 40. You better think, if they're going to pound Denver like that, they will pound us into the ground if they get a chance.
If the Chiefs lay down and let it happen, they will absolutely get wrecked.
Right. So you got to have Pacheco. You got to get after the quarterback. I think Chris Jones has to have a big day. You've got to have a big day out of Charles Omenihu. And you're going to need another big day out of George Karlaftis again. Should George be able to close this week? Yes, he should continue to be able to close. Omenihu should still be more disruptive. Now Omenihu's been back for a few weeks. He's got his legs under him. I think that's fine. I think what you got to do with the blitzing is let's not do so many corner blitzes. So don't blitz McDuffie and Snead. Maybe we need to let Leo play more off the edge. I don't know if Willie Gay's going to be able to suit it up. I don't know. So if you got that, you've got that. Drew Tranquil can blitz too. He's a pretty good blitzer as well. So I think you got to get there and you got to disrupt that. That's the other one I will say. And then the other thing I wanted to point out was they do have a few injuries that you could probably take advantage of. So, for example, Brandon Jones, their safety, is out. He's not playing. So we know he's not playing. So Mahomes should be able to find that replacement, throw at him, tickle the defense a little bit in that area and see if the backup is going to cave a little bit, see if he knows everything. And then this one goes right along. They've already ruled out Robert Hunt, the big offensive lineman. So maybe now Chris Jones can get in there and eat a little bit. Maybe Chris Jones, we've got to get Chris Jones back. The whole deal with Jones has just been hold him to death. Like if you watch every plays with Chris Jones, this is watching Chris Jones. They're not going to call it. They're just never going to call that. So hopefully everything's good. But I think if we get the pass rush down, and we can get to Tua and make him have to think just a little bit and disrupt that timing of that offense, I think we stay with it, man. I think we'll stay with it. I don't think this is going to be a blowout by any means, and I don't think it's a blowout on either side. I think this is going to be a very hard-fought, tough game. So I'm ready to get to some predictions. What do you got?
Let's do it. Okay, I'll go first. All right. So I said after the Broncos game that I was not going to pick the Chiefs again until they proved me wrong.
Ooh.
I did.
Did you lie?
Did I lie? I did not lie.
Ooh.
I got this game ending after overtime at a 30-30 tie in Germany.
What?
Okay. They're going to tie at 30. The MVP of the game is going to be Mike Edwards with 2 interceptions and a sack. So that's where I'm at with it. Okay.
You really are sick, aren't you?
No, I'm sick after I watched that game last week, and
Edwards,
I always pick the Chiefs, man.
You're just gonna go out and pick Edwards as MVP?
Why not? Okay, they got to prove me wrong after what I watched last week.
What's happening?
I said I could look. Here's the real deal. Okay, time traveler. Anyway, the thing about it is I said I would not pick the Chiefs again until they proved me wrong, because last week was an embarrassment, right? What did I do, Mike? I said the Chiefs were going to blow out the Broncos. 41-14, and they sucked. So this week I'm not gonna pick against them. So I'm just going to put it at a 30-30 tie.
So we're just ending in a whole tie. We're not even going to overtime. Nobody wins in overtime.
Oh, we're going to overtime, and then we're going to run out of time. Nobody's going to score.
Okay,
defenses
so
are going to buck up.
Tie. Okay. This is what I'm going to do. Pretty similar to your 30-30. I'm going to go 33-31, and I'm going to take the Chiefs. I say the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Chiefs get over the hump this week, and they're up to play, and Reed learns a little bit, and we actually go out and run the ball a little bit. I'm going to say 33-31, but I do believe Patrick Mahomes, we're going to have Petty Patrick in the house this week after last week. I think Mahomes is going to have a good day. I think he's going to go for 320. I think he's going to go for 3 touchdowns. I think he's going to add 40 to 50 more on the ground. I think you're going to have a good Patrick Mahomes day after a bad one last week. So I think the Chiefs will get back. It's going to be close. So 33-31, if you miss a field goal wide left and you lose by a point, then you're going to lose. I don't know what to tell you, but it's going to be close. That's what I think. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. But we'll see. I'm going to stick with that the Chiefs right the ship, because if you don't have a little bit of faith that they're going to right the ship this week, are they going to ride it? I mean, look, I refuse to go into a bye week and have to go with 2 straight weeks, which will then be 3 straight weeks of horrible sadness, lost to the Broncos, lost to Tyreek and the Dolphins.
We can't do that.
I'm not doing it. And then coming back with a game against the Eagles in which we could screw that one too. So I refuse to do this. We're getting it together, and I can't do it. I can't do it.
So I'm going 30-30 tie. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If y'all just watch me, I wrote down my actual prediction on this piece of paper. Okay.
Oh God.
I can't say it out loud because obviously I jinxed the Chiefs, right? I mean, I heard that's what I saw. So we'll refer back to that at a later date. See how that goes.
The game, by the way, people's asking where to watch the game. The game is going to be on NFL Network.
Yeah.
So if you got NFL Network, you can watch it. I don't know if they're going to show it on locals or not. They might. I don't know. Chief Kelsey says the game will be on NBC local. I have no idea if that's true or not. I'm not local to the area, so who knows? We'll see. I think it's going to be a Chiefs win, though. I think we bounce back. If we do not win this game, though, where's panic level? Look, we said when we were going into bye week this year that we needed to not have more than 2 to 3 losses. So this would be 3 losses.
Yep.
So
I don't think
is their panic level rising?
I'll tell you when there's a bit of a panic. Is if you lose to the Dolphins, you come off the bye week and lose to the Eagles.
Right, because Andy's supposed to be so good off the bye.
So back-to-back loss, like 3 losses in a row. And the offense, like it really hinges on what the offense does, right? I mean, if the team looks good and they lose a good team, then you might not feel as bad about it. But if they get out there and, look like that turd we watched last week, then
I mean, to be honest, panic levels have been pretty high all week, though, haven't they?
Well, I think yes and no. Like, I think people know it's like these kind of games can happen. The Chiefs had that, crap hole of a game against the Colts last year. We know that these kinds of things can happen. Mike, me and you were sitting in the stands watching Patrick Mahomes' worst game as an NFL player.
Yeah, we did.
We drove down to Nashville and had to watch that and get heckled, by everyone in the crowd for 3 hours, and we allowed them to do it, and we encouraged them to do it because we deserved it for showing up there in our Chiefs shirts.
We deserve that.
Yeah, that was so bad. It was so bad. But we've seen these kinds of games, so it's like, no, we're not really panicking yet. But I mean, like I'm saying, if you don't see that offense coming together, coming to some kind of form in the next 3 weeks,
by the way,
might be an issue.
That was a season in which the Chiefs were really struggling because it was only 2 weeks before that we lost to the Bills 38-20.
Yeah.
It was just 2 weeks before that game. And then we turned around and got the worst loss in Mahomes' career 2 weeks later. So we have went through these rough patches before. They're very few and far between with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
They do happen, though.
But they will happen. It's, everything, the old saying, if it can go wrong, it will.
We have days like that. Like,
dude, my whole life's been that way, Steve.
I'm not saying the Chiefs have days like that. We know, right. we know.
Well, okay? Look, if this don't get you horned up, I don't know what will. They've activated P-Ryan, Steve. A little PP on the PP.
You think he'll see even a snap?
No, he'll get like 5 snaps tops.
All right. Well, real quick, we're gonna get to some questions. So make sure to throw your questions in the comments. Put some question marks in front of it. Be easier for us to dig through. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. There's 369 watching, and only 111 likes. So we can do better. We can do better.
Hit
guys.
that like button for us.
Hit that like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't done that yet. If you love the Chiefs, you love Chiefs coverage. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Also, you've seen it down here. Nightbot's been telling you, hey, YouTube's screwing these two men over. I'm screwing them over. So get over to Patreon and support.
Joe has a good question. What's up, Joe? Good to see you. Joe says the Chiefs running back room is bad. CEH, Pacheco, McKinnon, a weak group of running backs. There's not one in group you can count on getting yardage every game. I think that's a little false. I think Pacheco could get yardage every game if you commit to him. I think he's got that running style. He runs like a bull in a china shop. This dude, he's angry. He looks for people to hit. He's very energetic. He's a guy that you want like pumping up your team, giving you a spark. We just don't rely on him very much. Now, I will say this. CEH, we said he was going to get a lot of snaps this year if he stayed healthy. And to be honest, they've been a little less than even we thought. Because Andy and them have stuck to this guy like, that was their the first girlfriend they ever had. And boy, they were scared to get rid of her. They didn't think they were going to get another one. But yeah, McKinnon, he's not looked too hot this year. They've kind of very much kept him on the back burner. But I think Pacheco's fine. I just don't think they commit to Pacheco a lot. And I think if they would, I think Pacheco would be fine. Ray says, what is the breakfast buffet like tomorrow morning? I'm not even eating breakfast. I'm not waking up and doing this. I refuse to participate in the NFL's BS games they're playing.
I didn't eat or drink. Oh, I drank some water, but I didn't eat anything all day long until about an hour ago. I don't know if it was a great idea.
Yeah. But what's that one? It's called what is it? Feed the flu, starve the cold, or is that backwards? One of them.
I have no idea.
One of them. I don't know. They tell you to eat.
It's okay. Well, they ordered pizza. Okay, and there was pizza, and I hadn't ate in like 24 hours. So
where'd you get pizza from? Let me get
it.
Domino's?
It was just crappy Domino's, but it's still pizza.
Domino's?
I hate Domino's. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Domino's with a passion, but everybody around us thinks it's
Domino's is single-handedly the worst pizza there is.
It is complete.
I honestly think Little Caesars is better
for the price. Hey,
that's an argument for another time. But
what's up, Calix? Calix Webb, I like that name. You better be subscribed to us, Calix. We're trying to get this. We're trying to get to 20K. And by the way, Steve, we're almost to 16K. We're at like 15,925 last time I checked. That's incredible. We're getting ready to hit 16K, and we're just now at the halfway point. So we're getting ready to do it. But Steve, he asked, how many sacks does Chris Jones get tomorrow, presumably? You want to take that one?
That's a good question, man. You said that Tua was the least sacked quarterback in the league right now. Is that legit?
He's not taking a lot of sacks. I can bring up the exact numbers really quick just to help you out.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. We don't got to go through all that. I'm going to go ahead. Chris Jones struggled in the last couple of weeks just because they're allowed to hold him. Like Mike said, that's the strategy people's having with Chris Jones right now. It's double team, triple team. And if that's not working, hold him until they call it. And they don't like to call holding him. They just don't. On the inside there with Chris Jones, they hardly ever call it. I think they need to kick him outside a little bit more than we saw last week. I think that might help. But I'm going to go ahead and give him 1.5 for tomorrow. I think he can have a good comeback day. Be good for him. Like you said, though, he's going to have to get there quick. And it could come as a result of good blitzes and him and opening up things for him in the middle.
Yeah.
Things like that. So I'm gonna go 1.5. I'm going to be positive here.
Okay. Well, I actually found what I was looking for. It says in 8 games this year, the offensive line in Miami is only allowed 24 QB hits and only 12 sacks. The sack total is tied for the 3rd fewest in the NFL, and the 24 quarterback hits are allowed the fewest. So he gets hit the fewest and sacked.
So is their O-line that good, or is he just getting rid of the ball that fast?
Probably a little combination of both. If you remember, he was getting a beating last year. Like the dude literally almost had head damage to the point where he almost had to retire. So
yeah, one more big hit, and it puts things into question.
Another thing I want to talk about is, look, the game tomorrow is at 9:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah, Eastern time.
Eastern time. They said that was like 2:30 p.m. in Germany.
Yeah, it's midday.
Why does the NFL put the game at 2:30 p.m. in Germany
instead of making it like a primetime game in Germany.
They made it at like 6:30 or 7:30, so in the States you can watch it at like a reasonable 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
I think they literally did that just to space it out more and to have like another outlier game. It's like another primetime game. Like, hey, wake up and watch this game.
It's not primetime. It's called early morning. Nobody wants to watch that crap.
It's crap time. Like,
Jeez
but
Louise.
I think it's just a way to have another exclusive game. Like, here you go. It's special. Wake up at the crack of dawn. Let's watch
Tony, Portcullis. Can't believe what I'm hearing. You all are down on my team.
Look, Tony, here's the deal,
we were down
buddy.
on it at all, Tony. I think we actually stuck up for him pretty well today after that performance last week.
Here's the deal, Tony. Everyone here knows that if you've watched our channel before, I'm pretty positive. Have I ever picked the Chiefs to lose a game?
I don't think so.
I don't think I ever picked the Chiefs to lose a game. Yeah. That's where we're at.
I was talking to this with Julia the other day.
It's the most
Mike's being negative again. But how many games have I actually picked against the Chiefs? 3 tops?
Yeah, not very many. I still didn't pick a game against the Chiefs, even at my most low on this team. Like here they are out there dropping a deuce last week, and I still gave them the tie.
Boy, they did. Boy, did they drop it.
Jeremiah says, "You stop crying about that early game."
I'm not, Jeremiah. I refuse. I refuse. It's stupid. There's nobody in the world wants to wake up at 8 in the morning and start tailgating for a football game. Come on. Chiefs fans would have to be tailgating it like right now. That's what we're doing right now.
Hey, Mark Hanners, what's up, my man? Good to see you. Thanks for all
Mark?
Your support, by the way. I've seen you over there on Patreon as well. So we appreciate you. Does Sky finally break out? No. No.
Hey, Steve, I'm proud of you. Usually you've been a huge Sky defender. And this is the first week you say no, which means he is going to break out, everybody.
Well, maybe.
This guy's going to have 200 yards tomorrow.
Well, my thing is I'll say what I've said the whole time. I think Sky's a fine receiver. I think that he has a good skill set. I think he's fast, quick, all those things. But nothing he's done so far has proved it's translated. It just hasn't. And whether it's the way he's being used or it's him in particular, like, is he not running the right routes? Is he not running good routes? Is he whatever? Or is it they're just not using them right? I don't know, but something hasn't clicked there, and I'm not fully confident that it's going to all click tomorrow in Germany.
Yep, I agree, Mark. Andrew, this is a pretty close question. Anyone aside from Rice show up tomorrow out of our wide receiver room? I don't know. They're going to have to show up and do it before I just...
I'll tell you who has to show up for this team.
I'm tired of projecting for these guys because it doesn't do no good. Why does MVS get a pass, Steve? Do you feel like Chiefs Kingdom gives MVS a pass all because of one game in one half against the daggone Bengals?
This man's getting paid $11 million to run sprints.
Dude, he gets a huge pass.
Did you see him complaining that they had to go to Germany to play the game?
Of course he did. He's worse than me.
It's like, gosh, man. You got paid $11 million. You ain't done squat this year, and you're going to cry because you got to go to Germany for a game?
Bro, you're making like $1 million to go over shut up and do it. You ain't going to do nothing.
Man, I don't know.
Hey,
MVS, like his attitude about how you have to say his name perfectly, he's just got this like arrogance and like he's not done much. And like we've kind of like been like, hey, they need to
dresses like Cam Newton's aunt. Like,
yeah, like the likable meter for Marquez Valdez-Scantling or more normally, pronounced to Marquez Valdez-Scantling like a normal person, but it's going down big time. Like we've been kind of advocates for him. Like, hey, he looked like he could be pretty good last year. Him and Mahomes just have to get on the same page, right?
Right. We said we thought he'd have a good year this year. Boy,
we'll see.
I'm tired of giving him the pass.
Yeah, I'm not giving him a pass.
If everybody's already tired of Sky Moore after literally 24 games in the league, and we're already writing him off. Well, why does MVS get the pass?
Exactly. That's it.
This dude's been in the league for 27 years and he stinks. We're calling him Applebee's, Steve. He's always good for 2 for 20.
That's his new nickname for sure. Zach B says it's Tony time, and it's funny because do I think that? Probably not. But I was getting ready to say this, Mike, before we got off on the MVS thing. Where is Kadarius Toney? Like, if he don't show up and do something, if they don't use him one way or the other, can they please get him out there and run some routes? Like, he's done nothing but gadget stuff.
What's wrong with Kadarius Toney?
I don't know, Mike.
Let's have a serious conversation for a minute.
At the end of the season last year, he was our most effective receiver, and it made all the difference in the world. And this year, he's a no-show. So, yeah, let's talk about it.
What is it Is it the fact that the injuries have finally caught up to him? Like, has he had so many injuries now that he's either A, playing timid, or he don't have the same elusiveness, or is it different? Does his work ethic really do stink? Does it stink? That's what they always said. He doesn't commit to football. Which one is it? Or is it just flat out he's not talented enough to be good? Because it's got to be one of those three.
I think he's got the talent.
You're playing with Andy Reid in this offense with the best quarterback to ever play the game, and you can't produce? Like, where does the fault lie?
I don't know, man. I think he's got the talent. I do. We've seen it. Like, he's got rare speed and shiftiness, and he can cut like crazy to the point to where you cringe at his knees every time he does it.
True.
We've seen him run some routes, make some contested catches last year. He looked good in special teams last year. There's all kinds of talent there. I don't know where the translation's getting lost either, Mike. I can't figure it out myself. To me, it just looks like they're not even really trying.
Somebody needs to figure it out because I don't understand it with him.
It's
to me,
weird.
He's got all the intangibles in the world, and like I said, you're in such a good position, and to just not be able to do it.
Well,
with this
that's
team,
the thing, man. Like, yeah, he has his problems, his issues. Everybody didn't like him in New York because of his attitude or this or that, or he wanted to do rap. He wasn't worried about football. I think all that's BS. Everything we've heard from even people that we know that have talked to him right there in the locker room and the other guys says that Kadarius Toney is all focused on winning, that he's got a good attitude, that the team loves him. He's got a good work ethic. And it's like, where's it getting lost in translation, man? I can't figure it out myself. Like I said a minute ago, it feels like they're not even trying sometimes. Like, I want to see them out there more running routes and not just out there to do the gadget plays from time to time, because that's what it feels like right now.
Yeah, I hear you. I think they've got to figure this out with Kadarius Toney. So far, it's like, look, he had a good game in the Super Bowl. He had a few good games last year, but let's be honest. Has he been worth a third-round pick?
No, not yet.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Not yet. Like I said, I think he has the talent to do it. It's just, is it going to get done? It's yet to be seen. We'll find out.
Let me bring this up. I'm seeing this like a ton. So I want to bring this up really quick. KY, good to see you, KY.
KY.
She says, listen to you guys, all the negativity in the comments. This is a few times I've seen this. Everybody's saying the comments are so negative. We haven't got to read the comments a lot.
Is Lewis in the house?
Look, here's the thing I'll say. I don't dog on Chiefs fans for being a little negative here and there, because
one way or the
is
other,
a perception, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of Chiefs fans just don't have any perspective. Like, there's certain times that we'll go out there and we'll talk to people, and they're like, look, you guys are you're too negative. They'll call us negative, or they'll say all we do is complain or this or that. But it's like, we're doing it from a place of love, you know? So I feel like I'm going to say that a lot of people do that as well. And then, like I said, a lot of people just put those rose-colored glasses on, and then you've got a big subsection that's like, well, we used to be horrible, so appreciate this. And it's like, well, you can still appreciate it, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't got to look through it, but
yeah,
it's whatever.
James gets it from our perspective, which I don't think that's what KY was getting at, by the way.
No, she's not talking about us.
No,
she's talking about the comments.
But no, James, you're exactly right. A lot of people say we're negative and stuff, and it's like, man, that's what we do is we talk about the game. If everything was perfect at all times, we thought everything was perfect, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. So, of course, we're going to dissect this and that, and we're going to question this and that.
Could you imagine this channel? Okay, look, take all the channels in the YouTube kingdom. Okay, there's a bunch. You guys got a bunch to choose from. You guys are spoiled for choice out there. Yeah. Believe me. Like, compared to other fan bases, their channels stink.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at everything you got. Could you imagine if we were back in the Pioli days and we had, we were going 3 and 4 wins? What are these guys going to be blowing smoke up your all's asses about? Like, what are they doing? Like, there's channels that just will not say a negative thing in the world. So what? Like, are you going to watch just anybody that's telling you, hey, the Chiefs they're 0-8 this year. They've not thrown a touchdown to their wide receiver, and you want to be on here just being positive? Like, at some point, I want to see some guy break something. That's what I would want to see. I'd be like, if we don't burn this place down.
Nah. No, there's no reason to be negative per se right now. We're 6-2. We're at the top of the AFC. we're hanging on to it. That's what we got to hang on to right there in this game, right? That's kind of
right. Hey, look at James.
An implication of this game. What?
He's back. He says whoever's tripping about the Dolphins are dumb. He's an Eagles fan, and we're going to kill him.
Man.
You're right, James.
I wish I had your confidence, James. I do think that we're a better team, but I think, do we have it together yet? That's the problem.
James, you're an Eagles fan. I hope you subscribe to this channel, and you'll come back next week when we
can
talk
have
about
some
the
fun.
Eagles. And we'll have some fun.
We can poke at each
don't
other
troll
and have
us too
fun.
bad, though, James.
Well, here's the thing. It's funny because you brought up the Eagles because he's an Eagles fan. Couple predictions for tomorrow, Mike. Who you got in the Eagles-Cowboys game?
The Eagles-Cowboys? I think the Eagles beat the Cowboys.
I think
I don't know what the score is going to be, but I think they beat them. I think they'll cause Dak enough problems. Dak will screw it up.
Also, who you got in the Bills-Bengals? I'm going to lean Bills.
I'm leaning Bills this year. I think the Bills got them this year.
Okay. So, yeah, Eagles-Bills and those two. I just want to know what you said. That's the same as me.
We're probably wrong on both of them.
We'll see.
Hey, Gary asked, Mike and Steve, could you see this game like the Chiefs-Rams from 2018, 54-51? I actually just put out a short about that game.
Yeah.
And the reason I did, because a few people said, why did you do a short about the Chiefs and the Rams on a week we're playing the Dolphins? It was supposed to be an international game. That was the theme. It was supposed to be played in Mexico City, and the field was bad, so it got moved to the LA Coliseum. So technically, if they had played it in Mexico City, you may not have saw 54-51. So technically, that turf caused that beautiful thing. So yeah, if you haven't watched that short, go watch it. I thought it was a pretty fun one. But I could see it being like this. That's why we titled this one, will Chiefs versus Dolphins be game of the year? Like, this has the potential that if both teams show up, they get those smelling salts in, and they wake up a little bit, you could have some offensive firepower tomorrow. But if it turns into that, Steve, do the Chiefs have enough to hang? Because
I don't know. They
all-out shootout. And do you really think the Dolphins are just going to take our defense to the woodshed all day?
That's what I was going to say. We're getting ready to see what our defense is actually made of, because we think they're a good top 5 defense. If they go out there and get absolutely pummeled by the Dolphins, then maybe we question that a little bit. But I don't think they will, man. I think they've shown enough this year to show that they're competitive, and they've been pretty solid. Do we have enough firepower to, get in a shootout like that? I don't know. You want to say you always do with Patrick Mahomes on your team.
At this point in the season, though, with this team right now, because look, you can say Mahomes and Reed and fine, but you're not looking at the whole Mahomes-Reed era. You're looking at this team in this moment, and this team in this moment has not showed me that they can be.
Somebody's got to step up.
Point offense if they need to be, except for against the Bears, who, by the way, they stink. So.
Yeah. No, but somebody's got to step up, man. One of the receivers got to step up. Is it going to be the young guy, Rashee Rice? Is he going to start going off? Something's got to be Kathy.
There. Can Miami hang with his defense?
Heck, that's what I'm. No, that's kind of where I was going with it a minute ago. I think our defense has proved themselves, and I think that we're forgetting that. Like, we get off on the Eagles, though they scored 70 points or this or that, but we don't talk about how good our defense has been. They've only let up in the 20s, one game this year. And it probably wasn't all their fault. It's because they couldn't get off the daggone field. Our offense puts our defense in such bad situations. They've done it for the last couple of years. It's very, very bad this year. It's the worst I've seen it. And they've got to flip the script on that, because this defense deserves better. I think they're playing at a high level, and I think they deserve the offense to get out there and, pull their weight. Just all there is to it. This could be a game, though, that could require them to score, Mike, 30, 35 points to win.
Right.
Easy.
Lennon Jace Ackerman says, by the way, who is over Patrick Mahomes' head in your picture right there? I can't see it, but that looks funny. I don't know what it is. We will be fine on the defense without our top linebacker. Will we be fine? Look, Nick Bolton.
It's a big loss.
Dude, I think Nick Bolton's a big loss. There's some guys, I'm telling you, there are some guys on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. They are very anti-Nick Bolton. It is weird to me.
It's wild, dude.
To see the Nick Bolton hate.
How can you be anti-Nick Bolton? How good he's been. You have to just be
They work for some big publications in Chiefs.
You have to be an idiot.
Kingdom. Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll be fine. I think Drew Tranquil does what he needs to do. He's that's turned out to be the best offseason acquisition, in my opinion, that he's done this year, that Brett Veach had, because it's like he's seen the future, and he said, look, Nick's going to have a little injury trouble this year.
Right.
Let's go out
Man,
and get the best option we can
Mike
get.
Edwards was a good one too. He's been all over the place, man. He's right around the ball. Patrick Mahomes even compared him to the Honey Badger. I mean, that's two great signings by Brett Veach. A lot of people thought we were getting Brett Veach down the road, because we were talking about how maybe he should have made a move for receiver. If you guys haven't been over to our Patreon yet, we did a whole hour-long episode on why, what's the repercussions of Brett Veach sitting and not taking a receiver at the trade deadline or making a play for one. So go check that out if you want to. But I don't know. I think Brett Veach still gets his props, man. We always give Brett Veach his props. We say he's the best in football, the best GM.
Right. We just said, look, it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that our Achilles heel this year is that wide receiver room.
Right.
So if he's not going to pull a trigger on it and he's not going to help,
that's risky for him.
It's risky. Now, if it pays off, good for him. And like I said,
it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for you.
Let's see if it pays off. And if it does, cool. Jacob says that Dr. Disrespect right there. Yes, it is. That is the doc himself. Love Dr. Disrespect. That dude cracks me up. The only negative I got to say about Doc is he's a 49ers fan. I mean, come on.
That's rough.
I mean, he's from the area. What are you going to do?
Yep. Well, we hit over 600 at one time here. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure to do that. Hit that sub button if you haven't subbed yet. And we'll take a few more questions and stuff. Probably be on here for, at least another around 10 minutes, maybe a little less. It depends. Hanging in, feeling a little rough. If y'all are late to the party, kind of crawled down here, basically, kind of roughing it.
Yeah,
but
I got sickly.
Yeah.
Omar says our D line is looking nice. Karlaftis is balling out. You are 100% correct. I think Karlaftis has turned the corner this year.
What a
beast. One off season working
with Tamba.
With Tamba Hali. And look at him.
You know what it is? It's like, I think I was wrong. I kept saying, George has to get a half step faster. He has to get a half step faster. He just can't close in. He can't get there. But actually, I think the handwork has improved so much after working with Tamba that it gives him that half step of extra time. Like, I feel like he's breaking away from the blocks faster than he was last year. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's what I'm seeing. I don't think George magically got faster, but I think he's more effective this year. He's using his hands much better, from what I can tell.
I agree. I do agree. Ray says, can you pull up the stats of the top receivers we faced this year so far and check the defense has done against them? Well, the best receiver we played so far is Justin Jefferson.
They shut him down, bro. They shut him down.
And look, Cortland Sutton, he's not a top 10. He's not a top 15.
But he kind of had Snead's number. So
that's what I'm saying. It don't necessarily mean – I think it's who you're up to play. It's what the total scheme is. It's how you're disrupting the quarterback. A lot of things go into it rather than just one-on-one getting beat. But I understand your question, Ray. I don't know if it does us any good. Who is the best? Like Garrett Wilson was a good receiver, and I don't know if he actually destroyed us on the day. He had a decent day.
Did you see where it was reported today that the Jets tried to get Devontae Adams, but the Raiders wouldn't let him on the trade deadline?
Why do the Jets just want to keep loading up, though?
They just want to keep putting the Packers team back together. That's all they're trying to do. It's weird.
Right, but I get it if Rodgers is there, but I'm telling you, I just don't think. Look, not saying
he's not going to play this year.
Right, but not saying that the other kid is a bad quarterback by any means.
Wilson, yeah.
But Zach Wilson's not the guy that's going to get you to the playoffs and win big games. So why would you just keep trading and taking big contracts and loading up and do it? It doesn't make sense.
Do you really need it? Like with Garrett Wilson on your team? Like, do you really need to go out there and get Devontae?
I feel like these teams just get they get a little horned up. And they get a little excited thinking that, like, you just got to keep your fans involved. If you're a bad team, you got to keep making big moves like this. See, I feel like Veach don't have to. I think Veach knew that he didn't have to go out and make a big move at the trade deadline. Chiefs fans may critique him in the moment, but Chiefs fans are going to stick around, and we know we're going to win. So, but I feel like the Jets, they'll stop selling tickets in 2 weeks.
Well, that's the difference, man. It's like
they lose,
we'll question it, and we'll say, man, maybe he should have went and got a receiver. But ultimately, we respect his decision, and we trust him to make the right decision. So it's like I said at the beginning of the season, Mike, like whatever they decide to do, that's what we would roll with. Andy Reid and Brett Veach know a lot more about it than we do. So if they think we're okay, then we're okay. Let's roll with it and see what happens. But we can definitely talk about how it's risky, and maybe they should have, been a little more cautious in that regard. But I don't know, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm reading the comments here. I just ran across this. What is the deal with Saints? Like, we've had so many Saints people this year.
That's strange because the Saints stink too.
Y'all have Derek Carr, man.
Yeah.
If y'all have not seen that Derek Carr's not it by now.
Dang. They've never watched the Raiders play, I guess.
This dude's out here crying about Chris Olave not running on a route. Meanwhile, he chucked it into the third row.
Yeah, what a joke.
Like, you want a guy like that dogging on a receiver? Like, what?
If they have to take Derek Carr off the field and put Taysom Hill in to run quarterback to score a touchdown in the red zone, that should tell you all you need to know.
That's not it. You guys ain't getting to the Super Bowl. Hell will freeze over before y'all get to the Super Bowl this year. We would get to the Super Bowl coming out of the AFC with Blaine Gabbert before the Saints get to the Super Bowl with Derek Carr. Mark that down. Put it on a poster.
Do the Saints even make the playoffs?
I don't know. That's a bad division, man. They may squeak in just because of that division, but you're not going to run through the Eagles. You're not going to beat the Eagles. You probably don't beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. Yeah. That ain't happening.
Yeah. Perry says the Saints and the Falcons are the most inconsistent teams in football this year. They're probably not wrong there.
The Falcons. Look.
Why did they kind of sold out on Desmond Ridder fast? They didn't give him much of a chance, did they?
Look, I thought Ridder could be okay, but I'm not sold on Ridder either. I think if I was there, I'd have already said done with Ridder.
You would have pulled the plug earlier.
There's
than
something
they did
about Ridder that
for Heineke.
Well, look, Ridder just doesn't have something about him that makes me feel comfortable in big situations that he's going to make a big play. Like, he just don't have that it factor. The first time we ever watched Mahomes play was in a preseason game, right? A preseason game against the Bengals. And just watching that, I said, that kid's special. He's going to be different.
Speaking of special, this just shows you how special Bengals fans are. They couldn't even get their own lame, terrible saying correct and accidentally said the New Orleans Saints. Like, Omega. Come on, bro. Come on.
Wait, what?
He said it was a typo. He meant who dat, not who day, or who day, not who dat.
So he's a Bengals fan, not a Saints fan?
I don't think he knows what he is.
I don't either. I think he's just trolling.
He's going through a midlife crisis.
Omega, eat more protein, get some more sleep, go to bed.
Get some rest, buddy. Get some rest.
Get some rest.
Anything?
Getting rest.
Yeah, we're gonna do that in just a second. But before we take off, man, let's go ahead and talk about one more thing from the game tomorrow. Win or lose, what do you want to see from the Chiefs? Like I said, win or lose, what kind of progress do you want to see the team making? Is it just getting back to running the ball more, or do you want to see the offense completely take off and start looking effective? Do you want to see the defense continue to hold it? What is it? Like what would please Michael?
What would please me? So you're saying if we lost,
no, win or lose. Like what direction you want to see this team get into?
I just want to see positive steps made by the receivers. I want to see one receiver step up. And to be honest, I would love for it to be Sky Moore. That's the one guy I want to see step up. Why? Because I believe he's got the most draft capital invested into him right now. I believe Rashee Rice is going to do good things here. I think he's already showed that it factor. We've yet to see it from Sky Moore. I'd love to see Sky Moore, because could you imagine if Sky Moore really could get it together? And then you would have Sky Moore and you'd have Rashee Rice. And then next year you can get rid of MVS. And we could either find Kadarius Toney. Like, that'd be great if we could find that dude. But, yeah, right. I wish a receiver would just step up and play well. I want to have a good game by our offense. I just want a clean game. Get rid of the turnovers.
Right.
Let's get rid of the turnovers, and let's commit to the run a little bit.
I'm right there.
What I want to see.
I'm right there with KY. I just simply want to see all three facets of the game. Like, I want to see everyone have a complete game. Offense, defense, special teams. No mistakes, no turnovers, no dumb penalties. Just get out there, play a good, clean game. That's something we've yet to see. Have we been firing on all cylinders? Like maybe the Bears game, but that's not saying much, because I think, our local high school football team could probably fire on all cylinders against the Bears. So I do. I want to see the Chiefs have a complete game. I'm right there with you, KY. Mike fell asleep. Ray says, Mike and Steve, are there going to be more Chiefs fans than Fins fans in the stadium tomorrow?
1,000%.
Yeah, easily.
Somebody, man, do you have the pictures? Kyle Williams, watcher of the show.
Yeah.
He's out there in Germany right now. He sent us some pictures. He got some pictures with Dante Hall, repping ACU. He's got the hoodie on.
Oh, yeah.
And then he also sent a picture with he was having breakfast with Andy Reid's wife, and she had the 2 Super Bowl rings with her.
Very cool.
So that's pretty cool as well.
I've seen a lot of things like that. I've seen a lot of fans get to interact with the players and stuff over at this Germany game. That's one thing that's kind of cool about it. One guy had posted he'd been a fan of the team for years and never met a player, and then he went to this game. He went to Germany. He ended up in the same hotel as them, and he had pictures with Nick Bolton. He had pictures with Drew Tranquill and Chris Jones. Like, he was just running into everybody, man, as Spags.
Because
so
I feel like
neat.
because
right?
It's Americans abroad, they kind of keep us in the same area, right?
Yeah, all you Americans get in this one hotel here, okay?
Well, I feel like they just,
we don't need you guys running amok.
Do you see this picture? That's Kyle. So you can see he's I'll zoom it in just a little bit.
On the left there.
This is Kyle. He's got the all chiefed up. Yeah, he's with Dante Hall, man. Check that out. So he had the Dante Hall. It's pretty sick, actually. But yeah, we told Kyle we hope he's having a good time out there. Anybody that got to make it to the Germany game, I'm sure that's cool. Me and Steve's never left the country. We've never been out of the country. We've been to a lot of states. I would say the only states we haven't been to is the Northeast. Because I was thinking about this. I've never been to the Northeast. I've never been to Texas, and I've never been to the West Coast. So I've never been past KC.
You have been to Canada, however, so you kind of lied to everybody.
Why?
That's out of the country. It's not off the continent. Technically, I'm right here.
I've not crossed overseas. I went to Toronto for like 25 minutes. Yeah.
Might have been more like a
Tim
day.
Hortons, man. Didn't even get Timmy. Didn't even have no Hortons.
Man. Yeah, good times. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Sorry my voice sounds like crap, and yeah, just struggling today. But got down here and had some fun with you all. It was good to talk to everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure to throw your game predictions in the chat before you jump off, and also hit that like button on the way out. Because I do like to kind of look through y'all's game predictions, see if anybody gets it right. So
if anybody hits it spot on, may send you out an ACU poster.
He's full of it. He's not gonna.
I'll do it. But you got to hit it spot on. And it's got to be dated. Steve, how many times do you throw out?
Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, people do it 2 days later.
On Tuesdays, like, are we going to be? And then they'll say the exact score. And I'm like, do you really think this is funny? Like, what is this, 4th grade?
Yeah. Hey, Ralph, get a grip, buddy. Get a grip. You'll be all right. Oh, Ray Finkelstein over there. Ray Finkel. Laces out, Dan. But no, appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. And once again, if you would like to donate to the channel, make sure to look in the chat. Nightbot, he has different ways you can do that. Also, patreon.com/allchiefedup. Get extra content. It's only $10 a month. A lot of good content over there. I think the people that are on there can vouch for that. It's a pretty good time. So go check that out. And Mike, you got anything left for them today?
Yeah, I actually do. I see where Nikki said that she hasn't been here for a while earlier because her mom fell and broke her hip at the Chargers game. Not at the Chargers game, but on the game day.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she's back over in the hospital and glad everything's going well there, Nikki, and good to see you. And everybody else, be safe. Have a fun one. Enjoy your ass crack of the morning football game tomorrow, by the way. have an extra piece of bacon and have yourself a day when we'll have some tuna for lunch. How about that?
Chiefs better win so I can have a good nap afterwards.
Oh, a great nap.
But we'll see you back post game, by the way. So come back and hang out with us. See you guys next time. Peace out.
There goes a sight from my soul.